when we turn back to technology to help with data analysis, we can actually see much faster progress than with human upskilling. And that's where the third era comes into the play. The era of augmented analytics. So let me ask you the question, how many of you have already heard the term of augmented analytics? Okay, I hope I will be clear enough. So what is it? The short answer is it's a sandwich. We can understand it as alternating steps of human-machine. It becomes a little bit clearer when we look at the exact step a typical data analyst would perform. The blue ones are those that are still best performed by a human, while the orange ones are those that can be performed better and more efficiently by a technology. And that's also why we are not talking about automated analytics. The human input is still important. Augmented analytics was also recognized as #1 trend by Gartner for 2019. It's the trend with the most disruptive potential over the next 3 to 5 years. Augmented analytics will completely transform how analytics content is developed, consumed, and shared. Let me give you an example. Imagine you have 40,000 people. It's approximately as much as you can see on the screen behind me. How does one analyze such large population? How do you answer easy question as, are those people happy? Or more complex one like, what really matters? And what form the answer should have? A number, or a chart, a story? Let's add some numbers. So we are having a company with 40,000 employees, and let's say we are asking 20 business questions in order to understand the situation in the company. We are looking at the data from perspective of 10 different dimensions and analyzing 1 month. Now, how many data points do you think an analyst would need to go through so we are able to answer those questions reliably? Is it more or less than 1 million? Who is more? Raise their hand. Okay. Good. Actually, it's 20 million data points. That's just humanly not possible. And that's the first principal argument for augmented analytics. Augmented analytics engine will eliminate all unnecessary noise and surface only the key parts of the data, what really matters. Different people in the company wants to see different results due to security or responsibilities. So augmented analytics is enabling scanning through all of the underlying data and surfacing top personalized insight. So for example, in case of, let's say, Jessica here, artificial intelligence predicts that she can make the greatest impact by focusing on average time to fill position in Cairo for data scientists. On top of that, further context to the main story is provided. So we can see that the candidate count has or fewer candidates are applying and offer acceptance rate has gone down. This is mainly happening in data science lead role, and it's specifically relevant for recruiters using James. So Jessica exactly knows where to focus on and how to act. The engine will surface the exact place in the company where the problem occurs and also give you an information how big it is. Each story has own life cycle and also feedback that will help to improve personalized results in the future. So let me summarize. What is the difference between second and third era? In the second era, era of self-service, BI tools and reports are surfacing overall measure. But how interesting is it if you are having 40,000 employees? Well, yes. Plus you have a manual ability of drilling down. However, we're talking about 20 millions of data points. While in the third area of augmented analytics, technology will scan all of the underlying data and surface just the key parts. So in other words, the technology, or we're helping the company and the people to focus on the areas where they can have the greatest impact. When you think about it with respect to one person, it's time saving. But when you think about all the relevant people in the company, it's just a massive increase in efficiency. And by focusing on automating technical part of the analysis, we are dramatically shifting the scope of data analyst. He will have vastly more time to focus on action, strategy, and business performance. And we are seeing this not only in the role of data analyst, but also in other roles that are relevant for people analytics. And that's business partners, HR business partners, and executives. This shift is empowering them and rising them in importance because they are moving from operational execution to a true leadership. So you might know that Workday acquired last summer a startup called Stories. In 2018, we were named a Gartner Cool Vendor in Analytics as only one of 3 companies worldwide. We were working on an engine based on augmented analytics and applying it in different industries. The last year, we have been implementing this engine within the Workday environment and developing the first application that is called Workday People Analytics. It's the application based on augmented analytics and developed within the HCM space. It's mainly for data analysts, HR business partners, organization leaders, and executives. In the initial content, we will cover organization composition, diversity, hiring, talent and performance, retention and attrition. But we are also developing an underlying platform, so we are able to build further applications. So how does the engine can work? How are we able to surface one relevant story? When we were thinking about the analysis, the work of data analysts, at least that analytical part, is pretty repetitive. So we were thinking there must be a way how we can analyze it. And we tried to mimic a mental model that a human analyst would have in mind when thinking about what really matters and defining what is important for a company. So our engine can be configured to answer the most important business insights. So at the beginning, the analyst simply asks the question, and then we are applying a pattern. This pattern can be anomalies, trends, outliers. The example would be, what are the most important trends in our headcount? After patterns are detected, there are many duplicates in the results. Because the drop in the headcount will be visible in South Africa, but also in Johannesburg, in certain job profile, gender, tenure, and etc. So we are applying a graph analytics that is creating a relationship among individual stories and enables to detect a causality. So at the end, we are able to surface one relevant story, the real source of the problem. This is optimized by machine learning to reduce still extensive graph of the stories and be enabled to surface personalized insight based on the security profile that is inherited within the workday system. Ultimately, we have added natural language generation, so the consumption of the story becomes more digestible. What does it mean? So basically, instead of just showing a number, we are able to create a sentence that is describing the result and people can understand it more easily. Let me show you several examples of the question that the customers are able to answer within the first 5 topic areas I have just shared a moment ago. Let's pick one. For example, where are we struggling to hire? The important part of the question is where. Where it's not linked to any geographical location, but where in the company do we have the biggest problem with hiring? And how the product that is surfacing answers to these type of questions can look like. Let me show you just very short demo. It looks like a traditional dashboard or very similar. However, beside this is the augmented analytics engine. Each topic has a separate tab where all the information and business questions related to the specific area. The structure of the tab is the same. We will go from the top. At the beginning are the main KPIs that are describing the situation in the company. Those are standardized KPIs currently delivered out of the box. The second part of the application is static visualization, and we are leveraging traditional feature of the dashboard to visualize source of the data and create a contextual information regarding the topic. Then comes the third part, the dynamic part, where we are scanning all of the underlying data, and for each separate business question, we are finding the top insights. These stories can be surfaced either as a card or as a list. Everyone who will log into the application will see personalized insights based on the security. So it will not happen with the HR for Africa will see the results for US if he is not supposed to. When we look at a specific card, let's say new hire voluntary turnover, the engine predicts that if you want to improve your new hire voluntary turnover, then you have a biggest problem in Cairo. Can you please click on view more on the Cairo? It's not working. Yeah, awesome, thank you. So each story has additional information. On the right side are top drivers that are explaining what is causing that there was a drop in new hire voluntary turnover in Cairo, that it was represented by 9.4 percentage points over the next year or previous year. The comparison to the previous year is just one example. You can compare the company benchmark, organizational level targets, etc. So we can see that it's mainly driven by individual contributor, but at the same time, managers are actually contributing to the turnover reverse. So they are improving the results. And it's mainly happening in the sales organization. Each story has also the graph, so you can see how the results were trending over the years. And once you click on the specific point in the graph, then detailed data out of which the story was calculated, will be surfaced. So you can see exactly which period has left, what was the reason, from which company, which cost center, and it's linked. We are working on a linkage to Workday system, so you can immediately take an action on these employees. You can close it. So the whole application, you can also apply the filters that we can see on the left side. So if we are interested in the specific location or specific cost center, you can filter, and the stories that are relevant for the filter element will be surfaced. Coming back to the presentation. This is not only the vision we are sharing. The first concept of the product is already developed, and we have implemented it to several customers during the early adopters program. Let me share you several stories we have actually found in the real data and what was the reaction of the companies. So one of our customers has spent really a lot of work on addressing female diversity. That was specifically in manager roles. However, after the engine scanned through all of their underlying data, yet still the most important part in female diversity was focusing on managers. So if they wanted to move a needle in female diversity, they had to handle these positions. So I wasn't really sure about their reaction and how interesting it will be. However, they said, "This is the most interesting story you have shown us." So I asked, "How come?" And they said, "Despite of all our effort, you are showing we're still not doing enough. According to the graph, the trend is getting worse and the gap is widening. And thanks to the top drivers, we can see we should focus on vice president roles and above. So now I can go to my managers with the specific information and work out the new plan." Another important question that a lot of companies are asking today is, are we promoting everyone fairly? And another story we found is on an entry level about the promotions. This could be just normal. It takes some time until new hires are promoted. However, we can see that the problem was concentrated in the supporting organizations, their org level 4, and at the same time in the locations that have cheaper labor. So this is the insight that would normally remain buried really deep into the data. However, thanks to people analytics, it opened up important discussion with the company. Let's be clear. Augmented analytics and Workday people analytics is just first step on the journey. We're looking at broadening the content, for example, with cost of workforce or skills. On top of that, we are applying augmented analytics in the financial analytical area, and then we might even open the platform for general usage. The era of augmented analytics is just at the beginning. We have covered maybe 10% of the space. There are many open questions, such as how are we going to run enterprise in the 21st century? Or how the companies are going to face exponentially growing complexity, and many others. We will be addressing some of the answers to these questions, but there is definitely a long way to go. Before we will move to the questions, let me invite you to our stand where I can show you a demo of the product or answer any further questions you might have about augmented analytics. At the same time, this is just one of the main trends that are happening in HR. We will be having further presentation about main global trends in HR today later on at 3 o'clock at the room 1. And tomorrow we will be presenting how HR can face these challenges and how Workday can help you on this journey. This will be happening at 3 p.m. in the same room as today. Any questions?
What is the average time, the rough time it takes for a company to develop enough transaction data to make this kind of analysis worthwhile?
Okay. In case you are already live on the Workday platform, then it's a work of several weeks. Because the work are already in data, so you just need to configure a junior application that is pretty fast. In case you are not Workday customers and the data are not yet in the system, then it depends on the size of the implementation. Currently, we're not offering it to the customers that are not Workday customers, but it may change. We're saying that the minimal amount is 13 months. So we are able to perform the analysis, especially for the KPIs like attrition, if you're calculating rolling 12 months, etc.